Tennis fans watching this video will certainly remember Nikolay Davydenko. Known for his consistency and strong baseline game, the Russian became one of the best players in the world back in the 2010s. A winner of 21 ATP singles titles, including an ATP Finals crown in 2009 and 3 Masters 1000 titles, Davydenko reached a career-high ranking of number 3 in the world in 2006. Being one of the main characters of the tour during that decade implied being in the spotlight, which can sometimes not be a particularly good thing, especially if you're involved in sketchy situations. Let's throw it back to Sopot in 2008, a clay court ATP 250 tournament that had the opportunity to welcome Nikolay Davydenko, world number 4 at the time, and therefore a great attraction for the tournament. However, things would not go as planned as the top seed played his second round match against Argentinian Martin Vasaggio Arguello, world number 87 back then. Even though it was a clay court tournament which was not Davydenko's favorite surface, taking into account the rankings, recent results, and hierarchy overall, the Russian was the clear favorite to advance to the following round. It was obvious at the time that the Argentinian was not supposed to win. However, shady stuff happened as the match approached and continued during the match itself. Before the match started, heavy bets started coming in, betting for the Argentinian. Could it be possible? Well, it's strange, but let's say it could happen. But things got shadier. Davydenko won the first set by 6-2, and contrary to what one might think is logic, even more bets on Arguello came in. Then the second set started, and Davydenko quickly went up a break. And more bets on the Argentinian kept coming in. There were way too many. And not to mention the amount of money that was in play. Normally, these kinds of matches would have around $300,000 in bets, which is a lot of money. But it is estimated that this one in particular received over $5 million. Something was most definitely not right. Everything was so strange and therefore evident that one of the most important betting houses, Betfair, contacted the tennis authorities to ask for an investigation. They were convinced that the match was being obviously fixed. In consequence, they voided all bets for the first time ever. The scale of the situation was big. In spite of everything that was going on, the match continued. And oh surprise, Davydenko went on to develop an injury, which cost him the second set and the match, as he retired in the third set after having lost the second one by 6-3 and being 2-1 down in the decider. What was the reason for his withdrawal? Apparently a stress fracture. However, no evidence of that injury was ever found. No medical records or any medical studies whatsoever. You might be asking yourselves now, how did the situation unfold after the match? Well, after evidencing such irregular betting patterns, there was a need for an investigation. And of course, as investigators started taking a closer look at the situation, things got even stranger. Firstly, all the huge bets on Arguello came from 9 linked accounts in Moscow. And this was not the first time that something like that happened with these accounts. They had a history of betting on favored opponents to lose a match after being set and break up. Oh, surprise! However, when investigators attempted to look a bit too closely into the Moscow accounts, they received undisclosed threats of violence, which caused the investigation to cease. It was a year-long process carried out by the ATP, which, as informed, found no wrongdoing from any of the players involved. This way, neither of the players were affected. Even though they somehow escaped this situation, both players have been involved in fishy situations throughout their careers. While Davydenko never had an episode as evident as this one, the Argentinian was found out to regularly chat with a match fixer before his matches. And not any match fixer, apparently he had regular conversations with the suspected head of an Italian gambling ring. Everything kind of makes sense, right? Summing everything up, the evidence seems inescapable. Even though it was never officially addressed, a world number 4 was involved in a match-fixing episode. However, as he didn't get caught publicly, the issue never received the attention it should have. So, is Nikolay Davydenko a cheater? I'll let you decide. If you enjoyed today's story, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more tennis-related content coming up.